Imagine a man who drank enough cyanide to kill 5 horses, then got shot 4 times, beaten, and finally dumped into an icy river, only to still fight for his life. Sounds like a horror movie villain, right? But this wasn't fiction. This was the real-life demise of Grigori Rasputin, Russia's infamous mad monk, whose grip on the Imperial Romanov family was so absolute, so bizarre, that people genuinely believed he possessed dark, unholy powers. How did a dirty, uneducated Siberian peasant come to wield such terrifying influence over an empire, and why was he so ridiculously hard to kill? Prepare yourselves, because the truth behind this legend is even crazier than the rumors. Our story begins not in the opulent palaces of St. Petersburg, but in a desolate Siberian village in the late 19th century. Grigori Rasputin was born a peasant, illiterate and crude. But even as a young man, there was something unsettlingly charismatic about him. He had piercing, hypnotic eyes, a knack for prophecy, and a reputation for drunken debauchery that was as legendary as his supposed spiritual insights. He called himself a staryets, a holy man, claiming direct communion with God, yet his lifestyle was anything but pious. He traveled westward, his reputation preceding him, gathering followers and leaving a trail of scandal and fascination. By 1905, Rasputin had arrived in St. Petersburg, a city teetering on the brink of revolution. It was here that he found his ultimate path to power, the Imperial Romanov family. Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra were desperate. Their only son, Alexei, heir to the throne, suffered from hemophilia, a bleed that could strike at any moment and prove fatal. Doctors were useless, helpless to stop the internal hemorrhages that racked the boy with agony. When Rasputin was introduced, he walked into a void of despair. And then, a miracle, or at least that's how it seemed. When Alexei had a particularly severe bleeding episode, the Tsarina called for Rasputin. He would sit by the boy's bed, speaking in soothing tones, praying, and sometimes just staring with those intense eyes. And time and again, Alexei's bleeding would subside. The pain would lessen. The boy would recover. What the doctors couldn't do, this unkempt peasant could. Alexandra, consumed by her son's suffering and her fervent Orthodox faith, became convinced. Rasputin was a messenger from God, the only one who could save her beloved Alexei. From that moment, Rasputin's influence spiraled out of control. He became the Tsarina's most trusted confidant, a shadowy figure whispering advice into the ears of Russia's most powerful woman. He meddled in politics, recommending ministers, generals, even dictating military strategy during World War I. He was frequently seen stumbling out of taverns, surrounded by admirers, propositioning noble women, his scandalous behavior becoming the talk of the empire. But no one dared touch him, not while Alexei lived and Alexandra believed. He was dubbed the Mad Monk, a symbol of the monarchy's decay. As Russia plunged deeper into war and chaos, the public's hatred for Rasputin intensified. He was seen as a German spy, a devil, the reason for Russia's suffering. A group of aristocratic conspirators, led by the incredibly wealthy and flamboyant Prince Felix Yusupov and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, decided he had to die. They planned his assassination with meticulous, almost theatrical detail. On the night of December 29, 1916, Yusupov lured Rasputin to his palace, promising a party and the company of his beautiful wife, who was conveniently absent. In the basement, Yusupov offered Rasputin cakes and red wine laced with enough cyanide to kill several men. Rasputin ate the cakes, drank the wine, and nothing happened. He just complained about heartburn. The conspirators watched, horrified, as their potent poison had zero effect. Panicked, Yusupov excused himself, grabbed a revolver and returned. He shot Rasputin point-blank in the chest. The monk staggered and collapsed. Convinced he was dead, the conspirators left to plan the disposal of the body. But when Yusupov returned a while later, Rasputin suddenly sprang up, his eyes wide open, lunging at Yusupov and reportedly screaming, "You bad boy!" He stumbled out into the courtyard, bleeding profusely but still moving. The other conspirators rushed out, shooting him again, once in the back, once in the head. They beat his prone body with a heavy club, bundled him into a blanket and drove him to the Neva River. They tied his hands and feet, smashed through the ice, and threw him into the frigid, dark water. Surely this time he was gone. But even then, Rasputin refused to die easily. When his body was recovered days later, the autopsy revealed something astounding. The cyanide had either been ineffective or hadn't been fully ingested. The multiple gunshot wounds were serious and the beating brutal, but none of them were immediately fatal. Rasputin's lungs were filled with water. He hadn't died from poison or bullets or blunt force trauma. He had been alive when he hit the freezing river and had drowned. He struggled to break free for several minutes, his immense vitality and physical resilience allowing him to survive the impossible, only to be overcome by the icy embrace of the Neva. The truth is, Rasputin's miracle cures for Alexei were likely a combination of hypnotic suggestion, his calm presence reducing the boy's anxiety, which can worsen bleeding, and perhaps even advising the Tsarina to stop the aspirin given by doctors, which was unknowingly thinning Alexei's blood. His mad monk persona was a carefully cultivated act, blending peasant mysticism with shrewd manipulation. He wasn't a sorcerer, but a master of psychological influence. His supposed invincibility was more his body's freakish tolerance for abuse, and the sheer incompetence of his assassins, than any supernatural power. Yet his death, mirroring his life, became the stuff of legend. In the end, this crude Siberian peasant, who was impossible to kill, became a symbol of the rotten core of the Romanov dynasty, a key accelerant to the Russian Revolution that would soon sweep them away. He was a paradox, a peasant who held an empire in his hands, and a man whose death was as sensational as his life. If you enjoyed this dive into Russia's most notorious mystic, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold histories.